Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're going to master something that sounds, well, kind of like science fiction, but it's actually one of the most powerful, highly practical tools in your English toolkit. We're talking about mental time travel. And no DeLorean required here. Specifically, we're diving into the future perfect tense. This is a tense that lets you speak with absolute certainty about the future, giving you a massive edge in both professional and casual conversations.
So, let me ask you this right out of the gate. Have you ever wanted to talk about something that will be completely finished before a specific time in the future? Like confidently declaring to your boss that you'll hit a massive deadline before Friday even arrives? That is exactly the core problem this piece of grammar solves. It literally turns "I hope to do this" into "it's already done." It makes you sound incredibly confident, super organized, and totally in control of your timeline.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. 1. What is future perfect? 2. When do we use it? 3. Negatives and questions. 4. Avoiding common mistakes. And finally, 5. Practice and review.
Section 1. What is future perfect?
So at its core, the future perfect tense is used to describe an action that will be completely finished before a specific time or before another action in the future. It gives us this highly precise way to express upcoming deadlines without any ambiguity. You're essentially planting a flag in the future and saying, hey, by the time we get here, the work is over. It just completely removes the guesswork for whoever is listening to you.
So the crucial point is this. Think of it this way. The action is finished first before a future deadline. You literally project your mind into the future, look back at an action and say, yep, that's already done. That concept is our mental time traveler anchor for this entire explainer. Hold on to that. You're standing in the future observing a completed past.
Now, to build this time machine, you need a very specific formula. It's the subject plus will plus have plus the past participle, which we often just call V3. Check out these examples. I will have finished my homework by 8 p.m. I mean, imagine the sheer relief at 8:01 p.m. because the work is completely done and you can finally just relax. Or, she will have graduated by next year. We're picturing her walking across that stage, degree in hand, celebrating with her family before next year even rolls around. These aren't just dry grammar rules, they're actually vivid mini-stories of success.
Section 2. When do we use it?
Here's scenario 1, an action completed before a specific time. By 10 o'clock tonight, I will have completed my project. I want you to visualize that 10 p.m. deadline. You aren't frantically typing away at 9:59 p.m., chugging coffee and stressing out, right? The project is already wrapped up, double-checked, and sent off completely before the clock strikes 10. It just paints a picture of absolute, total competence.
Scenario 2 is about an action completed before another future action. She will have left before we arrive. Notice there are two distinct future events happening here, right? Her leaving and our arriving. But her leaving happens first. By the time we pull up in our car, walk to the door, ring the doorbell, she's already gone. One future action wraps up entirely before the next future action even begins. And this brilliantly illustrates our third scenario. By the end of this year, they will have saved enough money to buy a new car. This showcases future achievements and completed experiences. Honestly, this is why goal setters absolutely love this tense. We're jumping ahead to the very end of the year to celebrate a massive financial goal that's been fully met. It's just an incredibly powerful way to verbalize your ambitions and, actually make them feel real.
Section 3. Negatives and questions.
Let's compare these structural differences side by side. For the negative form, we simply change will not into the contraction won't. So, I won't have finished by noon. It's super straightforward. Just a tiny change to express that the deadline won't be met, which, let's face it, is crucial for resetting expectations in the real world. Now, for the question form, we just take will and move it to the very front of the sentence. Will you have finished the book by tomorrow? The rest of the structure stays exactly the same. It's a simple, elegant flip that lets you check in on other people's progress.
Section 4. Avoiding common mistakes.
Okay, let's look at this first one. I will have finished my homework. Absolutely not. You definitely need that definitive past participle for this to work. I will have finished my homework. Do not forget that ed ending for regular verbs. It's a tiny detail, I know, but it really makes all the difference in sounding like a fluent, confident speaker rather than someone who's, kind of struggling with the timeline.
Now, what's really interesting about this next trap is how it involves third-person pronouns. She will has finished? No way! We never ever use has in this tense, even for he, she, or it. The word have is our anchor here. It remains completely constant no matter who the subject is. The correct version is always she will have finished. You've got to keep that have locked into your formula.
And the final trap. They will have went. This is an incredibly common mistake, honestly even for native speakers sometimes, but it's incorrect. You must always use the V3 past participle, not the simple past tense. So the correct form is they will have gone. Memorizing those tricky, irregular V3 verbs is your absolute secret weapon here. It acts like a shield against common grammar traps, making sure your sentences stay perfectly structured.
Section 5. Practice and review.
All right, let's put this into action. Complete the sentence. By next week, I blank my assignment. Take a split second. Say it out loud right now. What was that formula we talked about?
Yes, by next week, I will have finished my assignment. Excellent job. You've got that subject, will, have, and V3 locked in perfectly. That is exactly how you impress someone with your time management skills.
Let's move to the next one and see how this builds. Complete the sentence, they blank before the party begins. Think about the physical action of arriving here and remember our timeline.
Spot on. They will have arrived before the party begins. The arriving happens completely before the party even starts. That's a perfect execution of our second scenario, where one future action precedes another. Okay, here is your final test, and this one is all about celebrating a future achievement. Complete the sentence, she blank enough English by the end of the course.
Nailed it. She will have learned enough English by the end of the course. Fantastic work getting through that rapid-fire practice session so effortlessly. You are officially a mental time traveler.
So, to bring it all together, today we learned the core structure: subject plus will plus have plus V3. We explored its exact uses for actions completed before a future time, before another future action, and for future achievements. So, having mastered this, I want to leave you with this final, exciting thought to ponder. What massive goals will you have accomplished by this time next year? Use this tense to speak your success into existence. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep practicing, and I'll see you next time.